Good morning, all. This month is cuckoo. Please excuse my hair. It's an ongoing process. I'm going to make this video as quick as possible. I say this every month, but generally I don't have a lot to address that would take too long. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't have a microphone, so I'm pulling my computer up as close as I can. I've reduced my fans for a few moments. Not that I need them right now because it's very cool out. So just still trying to work out the kinks of these videos and making sure that production value is as close to appropriate as we can possibly get. So first, coffee. This will never happen again. 56 books picked up, 32 finished. I am not going to list them all. Most of them I do not have anymore. There are too many. There would have been too many even if I had decided to break this up into 2 videos, and I was not going to do that. I did not have the strength. I did not have the ability to do that this week. And I wanted to be able to get this video out on time because, as you know, if you've been following me for a while, my reading goes from the 25th to the 25th of the month. I actually get more reading done that way by doing it in that order. I'm gonna have to make the adjustments. Got to figure out a way to fix my camera angles. I'll try that next month. I got to make a note of that. Anywho, 32 out of 56. I have probably never had a month like this in terms of reading. I had a lot of opportunities to read. I did a lot of commuting. I did a lot of, I was busy, but within that busyness, I still found time to read as a commuter, as someone who would read at night. And I had a really good month in terms of actual reading, my best probably ever. I read so many good books. I finished the Inspector Gamache series by Louise Penny. I just had a really good month. I reread Jacqueline Suzanne. I just tackled a lot of really good books. I'm not going to list them all. I wasn't going to accumulate all of them. I couldn't have accumulated all of them because many of them were library books. And I did have the titles written down with the authors, as I always do. It was 5 Post-it notes worth of information and stats. And the only stat I was able to really pull myself together in order to write down was the fact that I read 32. So this will probably never happen again, which leads me to the fact that the one thing I did not read was, I'm doing this completely live. And even though I said I have notes for myself, I'm trying to get to everything accurately and in the order that I would like them. So bear with me. I did not get to my book club book for the month. I'm part of I follow the Historical Hellions, which is featuring Jessica from Peace Love Books here on YouTube, as well as Books with Samantha, also on BookTube and Instagram. And I will do my best to link their pages in this video in case you want to follow along. And their pick for the month of June was Wild Land, Wild Love by Connie Mason. I was able to find a copy on Amazon. I could not get it this month, and there was no, Panko Books didn't really have that particular book from Connie. Quick shout out to Connie Mason. And so bear with me. I'm just so tired. I'm going to get to why I'm tired in a minute. But I'm trying to be more prepared for these videos. So, didn't read that. I've already given a general overview of what I read. I got rid of my list just because I was feeling so overwhelmed by it, which is what I'm going into next. A lot of you know that I have been in a book buying bonanza the last couple of months, either acquiring free books or managing to get book hauls off of Facebook and so on, and Pango Books. I started to get very overwhelmed again with my book collection, both my own book collection and my TBR pile, because I separate the two. I love acquiring books, but I don't like having them. And I think it's because of how I have them set up in my space right now. I have two shelves, one tall, you can see behind me, and then a shorter wooden one that's two shelves that I've had for the better half of the day. I've had for well over a decade at this point, and I still like it. I still want it, but and not that they were overly filled, but what I've done is I've separated my paperbacks from my hardcovers. That's how I thought I was going to work. And then I had my TBR pile on the top shelf of my closet, which I thought perfect, wonderful. And then I started feeling a sense of overwhelmness and feeling of brokenness. So in the moment of pure desperation, I just put all of the books I owned, both finished and not read. I've put that on my Pango Books page. I am on Pango Books. In case you don't know what Pango Books is, Pango Books is a book buying website app, where people share books for sale, usually cheap, usually inexpensive, depending on the book. And usually, even if it's a new edition book, a brand new release, typically it's half, if not less, money compared to the original sale price. And you can accumulate listings, you can buy books from other sellers on the site, you can give reviews, you can direct message them, you can cancel an order, you can negotiate a price, you can leave reviews. I think I said that. It's a really effective, I've sold books on this site and I bought books from this site. It's a really effective, nice way to, and very easy compared to eBay or Amazon. It's just really easy and very, I think outside of Amazon, Pango Books is the next best way to get books at this point. I know there was Thrift Books. I know there was another site. I don't know if Thrift Books is still around. I know there was another site that was big for buying books online, and they recently shut down their production. I forget exactly what it's called at the moment. But anyway, so everything I owned is on my Pango Books site. I will link that in the description. I will figure that out. I haven't copied that to my clipboard to be able to do that, but I'm going to do that. I just wanted to get this video out of the way today. Wasn't going to take up too much of everyone's time, but I was feeling a sensational way of being overwhelmed. I think what I'm going to have to do is, not stop getting older books, but try to find a way in some way in the future to really not accumulate so much at once. Even though I have the space to put things, that doesn't mean I should. I don't have enough shelves. Ideally, someday I would like to have a ton of shelves that I can just put stuff on and not have to worry about it and feel good about having it and not feeling overwhelmed. So that's number one. Number two, I want to get a book cart. I know a lot of people have book carts. It helps them prioritize books that they need to read, and just overall how my space is working right now. I've got books all over the place. I've got books to keep track of. I had moments of hecticness where I wasn't able to read, and then I had too much time to read on my hands. I'm trying to do other things besides reading, and that's working out a little bit for me. Excuse my nose. And I just am tired of feeling overwhelmed with something that I love, that I believe that that's a sign. And I'm not trying to ramble too much about this, but I feel like I am because I'm still new to doing this. So I'm trying to do it in a way that is effective, informative, just to give you all a general sense of what I'm going through. Excuse my pudge. So still new to this. The channel is going to be growing. Still trying to organize my notes, feeling overwhelmed. So right now I have notebooks in my living room. I should say that I have books downstairs on a shelf that I use down in the basement where I keep them tidy. That's where I'm keeping all of my listings for Pango books. I'm not really using Facebook to sell them. I'm not really using Amazon or eBay. It's just easier for me to use it. So try to support if you can in any way possible. I'd be greatly appreciated and appreciate it. So I do have some books, very quickly. I do have some books that I accumulated from the library, just a few, like 5 or 6. So as I read them, I will update you about what I read. That'll probably go into my July wrap up. I don't have a TBR for this month, a set TBR necessarily. I'll basically be looking at my TBR list, books that I've been writing down based on recommendations or what I happen to see or an author I want to read or whatever. And I'm basically going on that. And that will be a combination of books that I acquire through buying them, little free libraries, the library, wherever, however I can do it. So no July TBR necessarily, just reading whatever I can get my hands on, reading as much as I can. I'm probably not going to have the same month that I had, but I will tell you very briefly, I did start something towards the end of the month that I think is going to work long term. Once I start to accumulate more books, I do want to have a lot of books. I just got to figure out a different way to organize them in a way that's not going to overwhelm me. So as I start to accumulate books again for my own TBR, I'm going to be having, and I'm too lazy to get my deck of cards. I'm using I've started to use, and it worked the last week or two of my reading month. And I think it's going to work long term in terms of, like I said, when I have so much that I accumulate and I have it on my shelf or my shelves, however I decide to do it, maybe I should buy another bookcase designated for TBR, have a book cart. I don't know. However, it ends up working. Excuse my rambling, because I'm just trying to make sure that I've got all my thoughts out because I'm not addressing this again. I'm leaving June behind at this point. I would normally start all fresh again on the 25th anyway, but here we are. So I've got my bicycle deck of cards, the Majesty edition, which is a purple edition. I'm too lazy to go up and get it. I'll show it someday when I do my actual TBR game. My TBR game going forward in the future, as far as I know, and I may add a game, I may add 2 games over time that I want to replicate based on other videos that I've seen. I've gone back and forth with TBR games, which ones work for me, which ones are not working for me. But right now, I'm going to do shuffling the cards based on the set that I have that I'll be using. Shuffle the cards very well, as much as I can shuffle. And then the top card, whatever the number on that card is, that's the number of the book on the shelf that I will grab. I will do that one book at a time. I'm not going to set up a game like I did in the past where I would do that and then accumulate a group of books and say, okay, this is my TBR for the month. I'm going to be doing that one book at a time. So I probably won't do a TBR game for each month. I will definitely do wrap ups. I think I've addressed this in the past. I will definitely have a ton of wrap ups. Not a ton of wrap ups. I will have wrap ups every month. I will at least do that. Vlogging, I don't have the editing skills for vlogging right now. Sprints, I may do at some point once I get more followers, but we will see. I do want to grow this channel. I want to grow it in not just focusing on books. I want to grow it in terms of my other interests. However, I'm just tired. That's why I'm drinking my coffee. I'm sorry. Mm, mm. As you can tell, I'm just overwhelmed by the whole thing. Just overwhelmed by the whole thing. There are other stressors in my life that basically I got blood work back, and it was actually good news according to the blood work. So I'm just trying to focus on inflammation in my body that I do feel on and off, and I've been feeling for many, many years. So I'll keep you all posted on that. I should be starting work soon. I will keep you all posted on that. I think I covered everything. I think I got the gist. So no TBR game, and the game that I have will sort of be an ongoing thing. Every time I finish a book or DNF a book, I will pick my next read based on that card game that based on that card mechanism that I talked about. I think that's the way I'm going to have to do it ongoing. And the more I accumulate, the more organized I get. Then I can do a game like Villains by Disney. It was a TBR game that I saw someone do. I've seen people do Scrabble, Candyland, using board games as their TBR game. I'm really going to have to figure out a way to do that going forward. So, a few minutes longer than I wanted this to be, but I just wanted to get this done and out of the way and give you all a real update about what's going on. This month will never happen again. I do not know what July will bring. I do not have a set TBR. I will definitely read my library books. I guess I will show you what I have. I wasn't going to get up. I really wasn't. But I have, and I promise I'm going to get more organized. Every time I try to do these videos, I know what I need to do, and I just don't have the time or the energy to get organized right now for them. That is going to change. I am determined that that's going to change. So, very briefly, going to show you the 5 books I have right now from the library that I need to read. Directed by James Burrows. James Burrows, hopefully you all can see this. James Burrows is a director in television. He's done Will and Grace, Friends, Frasier, Taxi. He directed Cheers. He's very well known in the Hollywood community. He's a legend in television. If you follow TV shows, if you follow actors, if you follow TV trivia, if you've seen documentaries, anything relating to Hollywood and film, James is one of those people that is just notoriously known. This is about his 5 years in the business. All of his perspectives and photos. Very much looking forward to that. Another book that I was hoping I would own, but I'm going to have to take it where I can get it. I saw a copy at the library and I just had to grab it. Where Are the Children Now? Hopefully you all can see this. I'm going to change my angle here. Mary Higgins Clark by and Alifair Burke. Alifair Burke has continued with Mary's legacy. I was a huge fan of Mary Higgins Clark, read all of her books, some of them multiple times. I adore Mary. I still do. I have continued to read her books that have come out since her death. Alifair Burke was an author that she started collaborating with in the last years of her life. And Alifair has continued on Mary's legacy, thank goodness. Where Are the Children Now is a sequel to her classic book pertaining to child harassment, child abuse, and the legal system. Decades old book, but here is now the sequel, and that's all I know about it. I don't know much about it other than that. Out of all the books that Mary read, Where the Children Are was one of her first, if not her first, and it was her most enduring. The one that, even though she wrote about 30 books, that was the one that people always went back to. It's in its like 67th printing at this point, the original book. So to write a sequel, I think it was time. Again, don't know much about this other than it is a sequel to Where the Children Are. And we all of Mary's fans should be very excited about this new release. And we should be thanking Alifair Burke for continuing, I'm sure with Mary's blessing before she passed away about 3 years ago, that she's continuing on with the legacy. Next, a book that I wasn't sure I was going to pick up, but I decided, what the heck? I might as well try to read it and at least say that I tried. Alex Prudhomme is the nephew of Julia Child, and he was the one that helped put together the book My Life in France with Julia. If you read that book, he's written a new book called Dinner with the President: Food, Politics, and a History of Breaking Bread at the White House. I glanced at this book very briefly. It is a new release. I am kind of excited. I'm hoping I like it. Let me just give you a little brief synopsis, not of the book, but just like I said, he's written many books. Alex has, and he is a freelance writer whose work has appeared in the New York Times, the New Yorker. He is the co-author of My Life in France with Julia, and he co-authored The French Chef in America, France is a Feast, Born Hungry, several books. He lives in Brooklyn. Just a general perspective, accumulated anecdotes of the White House dinners over the years. I'm hoping that the glare is not too bad and you can at least see the cover. It's a beautiful cover. I'm fascinated with the history of the White House. I'm fascinated with the presidents, and I love food. I consider myself a foodie. So this is a book that I wasn't sure if I would want to read from the library particularly, but I decided, you know what? At least let me try to read it. At least let me say that I attempted to read it. So I don't know much more about it than that. I'm not going to read the synopsis. I just don't have the energy today. Another book I wish it had come out years sooner. I really do. A History of Hollywood in Gold, Sweat, and Tears, Oscar Wars. Y'all know my love and fascination with Hollywood, with the business, with everything. This is by Michael Schulman. And this is basically a history of the Academy Awards. Don't know much more about it than that. As you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory by the cover, but there is an obsession with the Oscars, isn't it? It's not a bad thing to be awarded for doing a good job in your field. Most other fields have some sort of recognition, but the Oscars are the ultimate pedestal in terms of the fight and also the defeat, I guess I will say, of actors and the business. I'm losing track of my words. So kind of looking forward to this. I hope I like this. I pray that I like this. I want to like this. I wish a book like this had been written like 10 years ago. I think I would have had much more of an attention span for it. But I just hope it will keep my interest because it's a subject that I love and I'm very knowledgeable about already. So this will be very, very interesting. And the last book is actually a book that I can't remember if I ever actually read this. I remember watching the interview with Oprah years ago when she had the author on, and then I remember when Oprah was uploading her podcasts of her classic episodes from her show. This was one of this episode featuring this book. The episode featuring this book was in podcast form, and I always said I would go back and at least try to read this book. I don't remember if I actually read it, but I remember watching the interview with this author and being so overwhelmed by this story and never really forgetting the interview or the author. And the book is called Even Silence Has an End, My 6 Years in Captivity in the Colombian Jungle by Ingrid Betancourt. Many people have read this book. What I do remember about this book is how immensely unbelievable it is. It is a story of survival. It is a story of forgiveness. It is a story of growth. Basically, she was a journalist who got captured by the Colombian resistance, and at her 6 years in captivity, it is a record of her time there. Very descriptive from what I remember about it. The interview, if you ever find it on YouTube or if you find the podcast, she's worth hearing. I believe she's British. I believe she's a British reporter. This book, if I didn't read it, I know I always meant to. So now I'm going to take the chance to finally dive into Miss Betancourt's experience. Her life story is something to be marveled at, and a real hero and a real survivor, and a real good example for women. I believe a very well-spoken, very dignified lady with such grace. And Even Silence Has an End. What a powerful title. So that's it, guys. I guess I thought this video was going to be about 10 minutes long. It's been almost 30 minutes, but we're working on it. So I would love to be able to just get it down to 10 or 12 minutes, if not less, but we will see. So that's everything. Okay, y'all, I'm about to get out of here. I just want to get this out of the way. Filming is very exciting, but very stressful, especially this month, making sure I got all my notes together and all my points in place. Okay, have a good reading month. Let me know down in the comments what you're reading. I will post the link to my Pango books. I will try to mention those booktubers that I discussed, and just have a good day and try to stay cool. And no air conditioner, just fans. My central air is not working on the air part. It works with heating, but so fun. Okay, y'all, 30 minutes, 20 minutes longer than I hoped. I'll talk to you soon. I'll keep you posted throughout the month. Have a good reading month. Have a great month. Happy Pride. This is the official week of Pride. I know we say Pride Month, but Pride is actually this week because the 28th is the anniversary of the Stonewall uprising. So this week is officially Pride. Most of the events, the big events, are happening this week. So hopefully get out and support. And I will see you all soon. I've got to deal with utility bills right now. I'm sure we all do. And hopefully going to get $20 in so that I can, by the end of this week, so I don't get shut off on the 29th. That's a whole other thing. So much to talk about, and I shouldn't have put it all in this post. But anyway, y'all, see you later. Cheers. Salud. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I will keep you posted on future things. And I'm going to wrap up now. Bye-bye.